Part 58. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 576. Chapter 576 Shaking the Sky. Ah, ha 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 ha. Hong. 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 A great treasure mountain in front of Li Ziyi, up to 2,000 feet. A grey-black brilliance, with Li Ziyi's one-handed stroke, flew out and hit the hills, completely collapsed. Li Ziyi is located at a height of 1,000 feet. The entire Great Treasure Mountain is interrupted. The upper half of the mountain is collapsed, and Li Ziyi is beaten into a fly ash, separated by two halves. Wei Suo, this person's true yuan great as mountain, this powerful energy is too terrifying, and even the blood spirit old ancestor may not be able to pick him up. Followed by Wei Suo, Yin Liwa, who was always behind Li Ziyi, saw that the Great Treasure Mountain was directly interrupted, collapsed from the middle, and was beaten in half by the heaven-shaking scene, and could not help but stunned. Exclaimed. Wei Suo's eyes, in addition to shocked, also showed a hesitant look again. The crazy Li Ziyi didn't know how to turn, and directly destroyed everything that was blocking him in front of him. Now even this huge treasure mountain of up to 2,000 feet is interrupted, and the movement is really happening. It's too great treasure, he is already hesitating, and he still has to keep going. Ah, so terrifying. Even the Great Treasure Mountain is broken, so it costs true yuan, this great treasure cultivator is crazy. Spiritual Qi Ning Shan. It is the Netherworld Palace Supreme Elder, Reverend Li Ziyi, who smashed this great treasure mountain. What is it going to do? Behind this great treasure mountain is just a wilderness that looks very rich. There are many cultivators searching for a variety of materials in this wilderness with hundreds of miles. Li Ziyi, like the ancient God King, reinvented the earth, with the terrifying Qi flame, passing through the two naked half of the mountain, and the cultivators were all shaken. Supreme Elder. An unpretentious white young cultivator with a silver flying sword fluttered toward Li Ziyi. The white-robed cultivator is only about 20 years old, handsome, and has a cultivation base of the Thought Division Realm 4th layer. The body is also very cold, obviously the elite disciple of the Netherworld Palace. This young and fascinating white cultivator is obviously a stranger to Li Ziyi, and is close to coming to help. Woo 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 woo. Too terrifying, don't stop me from running away and kill you. Pu. However, Li Ziyi still stretched out without a stop, and a round of grey-black crescent moon, directly on the Netherworld Palace elite disciple. The elite disciple's eyes flashed a trace of fear and unbelievable look. The entire body of the naked body was transformed into a fly ash under the inexhaustible power energy and the flying sword at the foot. What about him? Is it crazy? Even the elite disciple of your own Netherworld Palace kills. What's really going on? Sprinting. Ah. Among the secret place wilderness, seeing all the cultivators in this scene, all stunned, and immediately, the three cultivators are now coming straight, and the three cultivators are even on the ground below Li Ziyi. However, the three cultivators only had a surging sound scream, and they were turned into a fly ash by a grey-black crescent moon drawn by Li Ziyi. You put on this invisible shape-shift great art dress. Wei Suo, who always followed the rear, took a deep breath and took out two invisible shape-shift great art clothes and handed it to Yin Liwa. At this moment, he has made a decision, and with 1,000 miles, if he is still with 1,000 miles, Li Ziyi still has no worse lust shape. As always, true yuan is as inexhaustible as he can stop chasing. Because like Li Ziyi, such as the same ancient wild beasts, all the way to the past, will certainly lead to many strong people around. Almost at the moment when Wei Suo and Yin Liwa put the invisible shape-shift great art clothes separately, a surging sound shouted from the other side of the wilderness. A red sunset glow of the escape light, directed towards the secret place. Come on a golden core great treasure cultivator. It's the great Rebend of Great Abyss sect. Already there is the nearby Golden Core stage great treasure cultivator, and the secret place of the secret place has been cracked. The cultivator, which was shot by the singer, has a red shapeshift great art dress, a red divine splendor with a circle of circles, a spiritual chi condense with a half-red sunset outside the naked body, a surging sound, a screaming. The momentum is also extremely amazing. Compared to the cultivator below, this high-end golden core cultivator is like a god in the sky. Mount Reverend. What happened? But from the Mad Mountain Reverend, there are still 2,000 feet, almost just see the spiritual chi condensate outside the Mad Mountain Reverend. The golden core cultivator that came to see it is immediately stunned. The disarray of Li's eye, but the incomparable strength of the great treasure, gave him an endless fear in his heart. Boom! 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 Li's eye still moves straight forward and step by step. Ah! The golden core cultivator just didn't react very well. When the great treasure called the surging sound, he had already appeared in the naked body. Under the pressure of a strong great treasure, this pressure brought the pressure seems to press him on the wall at once, without shapeshift great art. Pu. The golden core sunlight, just like a sunset, just spurted out of his mouth. Li's eye's one-handed hand has been drawn, representing the fallen gray-black moonlight, and the town is on his body. His flesh was completely collapsed and turned into ash. Ha ha ha, so terrible, my head hurts, don't stop me. Li's eye grabbed a red sunset-like golden core falling from the fly ash and continued to move forward. Sunset Reverend was killed by him. Within a few hundred miles, all the cultivators were stunned, and almost couldn't believe it. A golden core cultivator was instantly spiked and became ash. This is extremely embarrassing. To know that the golden core cultivator is in the eyes of all the cultivators below the golden core, there is a high presence. The whole Tianqian great treasure is smashing, and there are not many strong people who can compete with them. Li's eye kills Sunset Reverend directly. Is Netherworld Palace not afraid of enemies, not afraid of revenge from Great Abyss sect? Crazy. He is completely crazy. Reverend Li's eye is crazy. In a shock surging sound, Li's eye instantly crossed the wilderness and continued to move forward in a hilly area. He is now in a mess of divine consciousness, completely insane, and he will not hesitate to damage his own weight and the loss of golden core and life essence. The strength is far from normal. Wei Suo continues to follow Li's eye, although Sunset Reverend is only the cultivation base of the golden core first layer, but Li's eye fluctuates with the spiritual chi before the shift great art cast, and the town is oppressed without shape-shift great art is still a hand, and before its strength, perhaps golden core fourth layer great treasure cultivator, there may not be such a powerful energy. Star Wind shape-shift great art clothing. It is the younger sister of Mystic Wind sect. Almost at Wei Suo, I just passed through the screaming surging sound. His brows suddenly became fierce, and the scorpion of the Nethuaphelion fell immediately. A blue and silver flash of escape light, like a meteor, draws a long trajectory and shoots at Li's eye. This escape light, known by Wei Suo, is the signature of Mystic Wind sect's Starshift great art. The elite disciple, which has been able to wear the Starshift shapeshift great art, is the great treasure of Mystic Wind sect. In contrast, the Medic Wind sect's elite disciple soon approached Li's eye. This. Woo 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 woo. Don't stop me. But before the name of the Mystic Wind sect elite disciple, Li's eye is again reaching out. Only the heaven-level great rank attacking the shapeshift great art can produce the terrifying powerful energy directly to the Mystic Wind sect elite. Disciple town went down. Pa. Wei Suo and Yin Liwa couldn't see the face of this Mystic Wind sect elite disciple at all. I saw a group of cyan brilliance bloom in front of the young scorpion of Mystic Wind sect, but was immediately terrifying by the round. The gray-black crescent moon was completely destroyed. The starfish shapeshift great art on Mystic Wind sect's nephew was instantly torn into countless pieces. Chi. But just as the meat of the mystic wind sect elite disciple was turned into fly ash, a golden ochre flame pulsed in the scattered fly ash. Immediately, in the air of the secret place far away, there were several dazzling cyan beams immediately, and rushed into the sky. Mystic wind sect's cultivator has been shaken, and it's 1,000 miles, even within the radius of mystic wind sect high-level cultivator, will come. Wei Suo's eyelids, violently beaten, and immediately stopped completely. It's just a Lin Taixu. It's not that he can deal with it. The lust shape is not what he can control. The only thing he can do now is to set up shape-shift great art to return to the city. What are these? These people really look at the excitement and are not afraid of death. But at the same time, Wei Suo feels like a normal, looking back towards Deepest Pool City. I saw a lot of escape light in the sky in the direction of Deepest Pool City. This place is not far from Deepest Pool City, and the location of Deepest Pool City is extremely high. Obviously, the amazing change of this secret place has also been seen in Deepest Pool City. Now these escape lights are very messy, in all directions, certainly not just the cultivator of Great Abyss sect, there must be a lot of cultivators running to see the fun. It's who dare to kill my cultivator of Mystic Wind sect. It was just Wei Suo, looking back at the escape light, a slight indulgence, a surging sound, and a thundering surging sound, rolling from a distant sky. A blood-red pall great treasure, with the surging sound rolling out of the surging sound, from the distant clouds facing Lizhi. It seems like countless wasps, flying in the blink of an eye, a three-legged furnace surrounded by golden flames, wrapped around several golden chains with rune, running through the distant secret place clouds on the right side of Lizhi. Hong. Another white man's, stabbed the sky in the distant secret place. The atmosphere of a group of giant treasures, from all sides, is like a volcano continually spurting out and changing. Mystic Wind sect's cultivator was killed. Whoever dares to kill Mystic Wind sect's cultivator. Mystic Wind sect actually has so many high-level cultivators, in the heavenly great treasure Landner part. Among the escape lights in the Deepest Pool City, many cultivators have a sense of surging sound. A share of heaven shaking's murderous aura, shaking the sky, swept from all directions. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 577. A shocking scene appeared. The black knife made of rune-finished gold was scratched, and the cyan stone ball was first scratched with a shallow scratch, and a lot of cyan powder was cut off. But at the same time, this knife made of refined gold with a handle made a strange wailing, and the blade of the black knife suddenly showed countless intertwined light patterns. The breath of this light pattern is extremely powerful, and it completely exceeds the breath of the Jindan monks. Rune-fine gold itself is a gold that can be refined by the monks of the Divine Profound Realm. This light pattern is all the monks of the Divine Profound Realm at that time. Stripe pattern. However, the countless mysterious light patterns that emerged like a large magic circle were all shattered under a fierce tremor. What's going on? Wei Suo's eyes flashed an incredible light, and Nun 11 couldn't help but exclaimed. The black knife with the entire handle of rune-fine gold refined, and then shook suddenly, it seemed to be trying to struggle, but in an instant it turned into a fly ash. Boom! Ah, Sister Xiu exclaimed again. In her exclamation, I saw a small amount of powder cut off from the cyan stone ball, which suddenly turned into a ray of vitality. At the same time, from the point of the cut, the entire cyan stone ball seemed to start to burn. The surface began to shrink rapidly, all turned into a ray of blue vitality. It's weird. I've lived for so many years, I haven't seen such a weird thing. What the is this? Seeing this scene, the old man in green robe screamed repeatedly in Wei Zhuo's ear. But the screaming of the old man in green robe also came out, and Wei Suo did not have time to make any move. This force was actually passed directly through his real Yuan wrapped in cyan stone and originally wrapped in a black knife. Constantly poured into his body. Wei Suo's face changed suddenly. As soon as this strange-looking cyan energy flowed into his body, his first reaction was to agitate Xuanhuan, wanting to expel this strange cyan energy, but his Xuanhuan shocked up. The blue vitality turned out to be like a mountain, so he couldn't compete. Boom! 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 Just like the amazing tide, this blue vitality went straight all the way up, and rushed directly into his golden eyebrows. Boy, how are you? Boss. Wei Daiyu, how are you? Seeing Wei Suo's face suddenly become unsightly, he couldn't stop this strange blue vitality from entering his body, and the old man in green robe, the young fat bird and the female nun all exclaimed again. Wei Suo didn't reply immediately. With a chuck in his body, black lines of fire immediately rushed towards this blue vitality. Regardless of whether this blue vitality is beneficial or unhelpful to him, this time he feels that he is too arrogant to control. Uncontrollable, for monks, there is a danger of falling. Wei Suo's face changed again. His archaic fierce fire tactics, even the pale malaise of the pale old bays, can be burned away, but at this moment impact on this blue vitality, it is simply unable to compete with this blue vitality. Boom! The blue vitality poured into Wei Suo's Jindan like a tide. What is this? Wei Suo felt that after this blue vitality poured into his Jindan, there was no change at all, but it was all gathered in a part of his Jindan, as if it were in his Jindan, forcibly occupied a place, forming a blue sphere inside Jindan. It was only in an instant that the cyan vitality on the surface of the cyan stone ball was completely lost and condensed in Wei Suo's Jindan. The inside of the cyan stone ball is a milky white date-shaped crystal nucleus of the size of a thumb. All the stones outside the entire cyan stone ball have evaporated, leaving only this small date-shaped crystal-like thing, quietly suspended, with a milky white gleam. Wei Daiyu, are you alright? This strange change made Nu Xiu take a breath. At the same time, she couldn't wait to see the crystal nucleus first, but couldn't help but looked at Wei Suo and asked. At this moment Wei Suo's violently fluctuating aura was calmed down, but his face was unsightly. No matter which Jindan monk, if there is an unknown thing in Jindan suddenly, no one will look good. This vitality actually poured into my Jindan directly, and stayed in my Jindan. Wei Suo looked at Envy Xiu and said. What? Sister Xiu's face also changed suddenly. Is there any change? For the time being, there is no change with my Jindan. Now Wei Suo felt that the small piece of blue thing was dead, as if a blue stone was embedded in his golden pill. But this blue stone is really too weird. What is this? Wei Suo's gaze rested on a small date-shaped spar left in front of him. Rune gold is one of the most powerful golds. Even the ancient fierce fire of Wei Suo may not be able to refine it, and this black knife is an ancient treasure. I don't know what magical power is added to it. But now this ancient treasure turned into fly ash directly, and the innumerable runes printed by the monks of the Divine Profound period all shattered in resonance. And now, the cyan stone ball actually has such a small thing left. Nothing has happened with Jindan for the time being. Nun 11 let out a slight sigh of relief, and her eyes returned to the remaining spars unconsciously, but her face was not very good looking. Strange things are not always fun. It's horrible, horrible. Yang Zhiniao's gaze also stayed on this date-shaped spar, but immediately his body shivered violently. Why, what do you feel again? Wei Suo and Nu Xiu asked immediately after looking at Yang Zhiniao. This thing seems to have the same breath as the sky dome, Yang Zhiniao said with great fear. Are their breaths similar to the sky dome? Wei Suo and Nun 11 shook their hearts simultaneously. This thing, is it something that ancient monks left to record the exercises? Nu 11's eyes flashed suddenly and said. The brilliance on this jujube-shaped crystal nucleus is indeed very similar to the brilliance of the sky dome, and when you look closely, there seem to be many runes flashing constantly, which looks like a piece of classics. What records the exercises? Wei Suo also saw that there were countless small runes flickering, and after a little deep indulgence, Wei Suo tried to release his consciousness and probed into the crystal. What? Wei Suo had also used his consciousness to explore the Cyan Stone Ball, but he couldn't get in, but at this time, Wei Suo's consciousness suddenly screamed. His consciousness seemed to be penetrated by countless steel needles. Extremely painful. Wei Suo, what's going on? Nuxio's face suddenly turned pale again. Don't use God to detect this thing. Wei Suo's body trembled, his face full of pain, but he still barely said the sentence. I've suffered a punishment from God's consciousness. Seeing Wei Suo's words, and then hearing Wei Suo's words, the female Xiu suddenly reacted, with some terrified expression in her eyes. This thing has a strong kick against the consciousness, and my consciousness can't resist it at all. Wei Suo's face quickly became pale, and the divine light in his eyes became slightly weak, only after his consciousness was discovered. Below, it was like being hit by the impact of a more powerful consciousness, but at this moment, his consciousness suffered a lot of damage, just like in an exhausted situation, forcibly past a long-distance teleportation circle general. It takes at least a few days for the damage to this consciousness to recover completely. What the is this? The old man in green robe was also almost completely crazy. Even ancient treasures, extremely special refining materials, can always see some clues and determine what kind of things are roughly, but this thing is simply impossible to judge. No matter what it is, this thing is definitely a trivial matter, so I can only put it away and talk about it. After taking a few deep breaths, Wei Suo stretched out his hand and grabbed the spar, which was also without any aura, in his hand. Now he dare not try this thing at all, but the piece of cyan that he infiltrated among the golden pill is now still dead like a rock, but I don't know if there will be any sudden changes in the end. Maybe with the hands now the spar is of great relevance. The answer may be in the hands of the spar, so the spar must be collected for Wei Suo. Fortunately, the cyan stone ball of the original boss has become so small, if it cannot be loaded with Nabeo, it is also very easy to carry it. You have to hide this thing. Maybe you will be able to know the mystery of this thing from the monk or the ancestor who lost this thing in the future. Nun 11 also thought about Wei Suo completely, agreeing nodded. Wei Suo groaned a little, and took a small silk sack from the Nabeo sack. He directly used this crystal as a necklace pendant and hung it on the chest inside his clothes. Go. After collecting the spar, Wei Suo didn't stay. He reached out and took out another Yirong Dan, turned it into True Yuan, and wiped it on his face, but it became a middle-aged monk without white face. Nun 11 didn't hesitate anymore. The golden aura light on her body disappeared immediately, a transparent brilliance appeared between her hands, and a transparent mask was pressed on her face, and her breath changed at the same time. It turned into a round-faced male repairman with a black mole on his face. The two monks also met Wei Suo and her along the way. They made a deal with Wei Suo with a magic weapon of inferior order. At this moment, they stayed in a city along the way to meditate. Now in this residence, Lu Dexiu and Sun Jin were also randomly excused by Wei Suo, and stayed in this residence for a month. In fact, the medicine was useless at all, just equivalent to 2 more spares identity of. After the two left the residence, they were not going to return to the residence. So even if the Chinese monk had an accident in the east window, the unknown ancestral door had to look for the golden harrier, and at most it was found that the golden harrier and the two Lu Ruxiu had contacted, at most even this place. Checked out, but then, they certainly cannot find their heads. As soon as he changed his face, Wei Suo and Nunqiu went out of this lonely residence outside and walked in a circle towards Jiguxian. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 578. Chapter 578 Strong Battlefield. This is Heaven Burning Divine Stove. Fen Tianfan, the younger brother of Mystic Wind Sect Master Yexian Cheng. Lizi of the golden core third layer late stage, was it suppressed and burned away. This kind of heaven burning divine stove burns, who can resist it? Many cultivators are discolored. Reverend Fen Tianfan, rumored to be the last generation of the mystic wind sect true disciple, the cultivation base entered the slowest. It is the most indispensable true disciple, and the divine ability of mystic wind sect master Yexian Cheng does not know much. Many know the rumor of the cultivator, the original heart still some feel that this Fen Tianfan some waste, some look down on, but now, this Fen Tianfan have such an amazing divine ability, see the cultivator of this scene, are aware of there is great treasure wrong, like Fen Tianfan this kind, even if it is relative to waste, it is also relative to the heaven-shaking great treasure, compared to the general cultivator, these characters, is absolutely high above the God only. Hong. The golden divine fire, which is widely spread by the golden tide, has a powerful energy that has passed the shape-shift great art of the general Dao rank, and has the power to burn out. The golden light on the furnace of the God furnace is even more splendid, and the terrifying temperature that is emitted makes the area within 1,000 squares. Sect Master's younger brother, also the old devil, is sure to get some inheritance from the previous generation of mystic wind section. This heaven-burning divine stove is at least half the precious treasure of mystic rank, and maybe even the real mysterious treasure. Golden core third layer late stages great treasure cultivator, Madaga Reverend Lizi is so fallen. Great treasure most of the cultivator's mind, have risen to this idea. Dang. But at this moment, heaven-burning divine stove, from the inside out of the giant great treasure's impact surging sound, like someone is hitting the clock. Ah! A substantial sound wave, with an amazing degree of expansion, many cultivators screamed out the surging sound, feeling that their eardrums were shattered. A cultivator entwined with a golden flame, as if it were all burning, smashed out behind the three-legged sacred stove of Pang great treasure, with a hand out of true Yuan, madly pouring into the three-legged furnace among them. Lizi is not dead. He bombarded the furnace in it. A cultivator watching the battle was stunned. This bell-like surging sound, it is obvious that Lizi bombarded the furnace inside, and this appearance of Fen Tianfan, obviously wants to suppress the furnace, not let Lizi get out. Dang. Another tidal wave of sound swayed from the golden furnace, and many trees and rocks around it were shattered. The surface of the three-legged furnace of Pang great treasure did not have any damage, but at this moment Fen Tianfan's cultivator seems to have been unable to suppress this powerful energy. Ah! I saw the golden flames entangled in the air, Fen Tianfan couldn't see the face, and spewed out a blood. The hands seemed to be the same as the powerful energy backlash of heaven-burning divine stove, instantly becoming burnt, dry, and the skin is falling off. Ka! The top cover of heaven-burning divine stove was blown away by a smashing grey-black origin chi. Woo 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 woo, the head and eyebrows are also scorched, and almost no visible Lizi rushed out from inside. Ah! Away! He is coming to us. Ah! Don't stop in front of him, or you will die. After rushing out of heaven-burning divine stove, Lizi still cried for a while, a crazy watch-lust, but he was obviously wrong, but swept in the direction of deepest pool city. Good terrifying don't stop me, kill you. Lizi stepped out step by step, and the white robes that had been vomited twice by him were also stunned, and they didn't dare to block them alone. A grey-black mountain-like spiritual chi metamorphosis, chopped behind Lizi, just a few breaths of time, Lizi's naked body, has been moving straight ahead, I don't know how much distance. Ah! We simply don't want to stop you from going, we can't escape. Don't chase us Lizi is now in front of him, originally his rear, and has gathered a lot of cultivators who came to see what is going on. As soon as these cultivators saw that Lizi was in the wrong direction, they immediately fled in the air, but almost all of these cultivators' flaws were nothing compared to shapeshift great art and Lizi. Puff. Only in the blink of an eye, there were more than a dozen cultivators that could not escape, and all were beaten into fly ash. Crazy. He is completely crazy. For a time, the secret place in the sky is the escape light of the Emperor, and Li Ziyi is still marching forward, just like the ancient demon god, going forward and launching the heaven-shaking killing chase. Fen Tianfan at the top of Mystic Wind Sect Old Antique and Heaven-Burning Divine Stove is irritating and chasing Li Ziyi. Hong, Hong. Another breath of strong great treasure emerged from the distant secret place, and there were more powerful people, which were alarmed by the lust shape here. 2 consecutive Mystic Wind Sect elite disciples have fallen, and among them are the ones that have formed Golden Core and Elite Disciple. Mystic Wind Sect is now a strong person who perceives this lust shape. Shock. Wei Suo, what should I do? Yin Liwa couldn't help but look at Wei Suo. It was only a moment, and the two and the straight Li Ziyi were less than 30 miles away, but they were not in front of Li Ziyi. We continue to return to Deepest Pool City. Now that Li Ziyi's strength is terrifying, his true Yuan is not showing signs of exhaustion. Near the Deepest Pool City, it is likely to become the battlefield of Mystic Wind Sect and Li Ziyi. By the time we have 2 cultivation bases, it is impossible to conceal. It is only safe to return to the residence in the city. Wei Suo didn't have any nonsense at all. He pulled Yin Liwa and continued to fly towards Deepest Pool City. Woo 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 woo. Li Ziyi's singer is on the Wei Suo and Yin Liwa who deliberately hide the whereabouts, and after the 5 or 6 cultivators along the way to see the catastrophe that led to the killing of the Ash, Li Ziyi has crossed Wei Suo and Yin Liwa, continues to traverse the direction of Deepest Pool City. Along the way, the cultivator, which has been clarifying the situation from time to time, was directly photographed as fly ash. Looking at Li Ziyi's way forward, it gives the impression that he will completely destroy Deepest Pool City. Deepest Pool City is just a small town, governing the Taiyuan sect of Deepest Pool City, and only one Golden Core cultivator, and the Golden Core cultivator has also been turned into a fly ash by Li Ziyi, leaving only one Golden Core. Now Li Ziyi's hands are empty, and I don't know if the Golden Core was dropped in Heaven-Burning Divine Stove, or he was taken over. If Li Ziyi wants to destroy Deepest Pool City, I am afraid that unless all cultivators in Deepest Pool City are determined to guard Deepest Pool City, it is possible to withstand it. Good terrifying run fast, Li Ziyi muttered to herself and continually traversed in the air. The rear White Robes Mystic Wind Sect Old Antique and Fen Tianfan are chasing each other tightly, but let the two vomit again for a few times. This madman seems to have no control of the 2 people they are chasing, but they are always chasing on this madman. Fortunately, he is not facing Deepest Pool City, otherwise Deepest Pool City is afraid to be beaten in disorder. In front of the Deepest Pool City, almost all of the cultivators of Deepest Pool City have received the news, all of them come out, and only Li Ziyi Great Treasure and Deepest Pool City are deviated by a distance of 1000 by, from Deepest Pool City. Trapped past by Deepest Pool City, which was already boiling. Blue fellow deist. At this time, Wei Suo was about 200 miles away from Deepest Pool City Great Treasure, but he suddenly grabbed it and took off his invisible shapeshift great art. On the upper side, there was such a surging sound. You're fine, I thought you were playing with the people of Mystic Wind Sect. The female cultivator, dressed as a round-faced middle-aged cultivator, fell from the top and looked like a frightened one. Who is this fellow deist? Seeing Yin Liwa beside Wei Suo, the female cultivator couldn't help but ask. Wei Suo's heart gave birth to a warmth. At this moment, he still does not know the identity of this female cultivator, thinking that she is a male cultivator, but I don't know at all. The reason why there are so many Mystic Wind Sect strongmen come to Heavenly Profound Continent northern part is not his the reason, but because of this female cultivator. But at the moment he could see that the female cultivator was driven out by the cultivator of Mystic Wind Sect, and it was obvious that he wanted to work side by side with himself. She is Yin Liwa, a cultivator of Cloud Spirit Continent, with a naked body lust shape, and so on back to deepest pool city. This Lazy Eye has killed 2 Mystic Wind Sect elite disciples, and one of them is the Golden Core disciple. I am afraid that the entire Mystic Wind Sect of the Heavenly Profound Continent northern part will come to the squad. We only have to return to deepest pool city to be insured. But at the moment, Wei Suo didn't dare to stop, and said to the female cultivator, while flying towards deepest pool city. Hong. Almost as soon as Wei Suo and the female cultivator and Yin Liwa took a ride back to the entrance of deepest pool city, a silvery waterfall, like a galaxy falling for 9 days, with endless power from deepest pool the other end of city hangs down in the sky ahead of Lazy Eye. Ancient brother. Stop this person. Beware of this person's shapeshift great art is heaven level top ranks attacking shapeshift great art. As soon as I saw the silver waterfall falling down, the back of the white radiant white robes mystic wind sect old antique, immediately out of a surging sound sternly shouted. Brother. This provoked a strong man of hundreds of feet and a silver waterfall that was more than a few feet wide, or the old man's brother. Mystic Wind Sect is another old antique. Heaven level top ranks shapeshift great art. Above the silver waterfall, there was also a surging sound that was shocked and old. This person did not show up, the entire silver waterfall, rolled towards Lazy Eye. Puff. This silver waterfall was immediately crushed by Lazy Eye under the one-handed stroke. But then, a cyan jade clock appeared in the sky above the falling of the silver waterfall, and a strip of cyan light powers down towards Lazy Eye. And by the blocking of the silver waterfall, the rear white robe old antique and Fentianfan are also chasing up. Boom. A blue-white palace and a golden fire dragon with a giant treasure are crushed from the rear. Hong, hong, hong. At the same time, there are at least 5 or 6 Apist treasure escape lights coming from the surrounding sky. This is only a short distance from the deepest pool city, which is less than 700 miles away. It immediately became the battlefield of the strong. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 579. Chapter 579 Lin takes you back. Endless powerful energy, it seems that Lazy Eye will be completely annihilated in an instant. Pa. However, Lazy Eye single-handedly stroked a round of grey-black crescent moon in front of her body for a week. All the splendid light and rune were suppressed and turned into fly ash. Lightning Mystic Moon. This is the heaven-level top-rank attack by Netherworld Palace, Shapeshift Great Art, Lightning Mystic Moon. This is one of thousands of years ago, the ancient column of the devastating giant treasure, known as the Ancient 10 Great Treasure, one of the strongest attack Shapeshift Great Art. This kind of Shapeshift Great Art is extremely mysterious. It is said that even the Netherworld Palace Lord Serene Emperor is not fully understood. I couldn't think of it in his hands. This kind of Shapeshift Great Art, not only the Netherworld Palace Lord is eligible to enter Secret Place, get the inheritance. How can this Shapeshift Great Art appear in the hands of Lazy Eye? Lazy Eye is a shocking and stunning character. How can it be mad like this? Is it because of stealing this Dao technique Shapeshift Great Art? Now the entire deepest pool city, and Lazy Eye and other people in the air position is almost exactly the same level, just like a giant great treasure stand, and this rank of the strong, deepest pool city in the great treasury most of the cultivator, is not even one has seen. Now see such a strong succession, heaven-shaking shapeshift great art scene, the entire deepest pool city has been chaos into a pot of boiling porridge, which there are many knowledgeable and wise, and constantly exclaimed out surging sound. Wei Suo, you seem to be coming back in the same secret place as this Lazy Eye. What happened to him? This Lazy Eye's shapeshift great art is so terrifying. As soon as I entered deepest pool city, the female cultivator couldn't help but sound transmission to ask Wei Suo. He attacked me with a divine consciousness impact shapeshift great art. It suffered from backlash. You remember the cyan stone sphere? The crystal nucleus inside is very weird. His divine consciousness shock is the nucleus. Backlash Wei Suo passed the surging sound to the female cultivator, and couldn't help but sigh the inner vision. This science stone sphere is too weird. Fortunately, Wei Suo is slightly more concerned with the small piece embedded in his golden core. Cyan things, there is no change, like a dead rock. Look, there are two great treasure cultivators coming. Ah! It is Supreme Elder of Northern Bright Section. He is the old antique who has the Northern Bright Sect great treasure. It is also the cultivator of the golden core third layer late stage. That's. At this time, two more powerful people came. One of them was an old man plainly dressed in a plain blue cloth shapeshift great art. The old man's face is very ordinary, his body is not the slightest spirit chi, and there is no sacrifice for any of the shapeshift great art great treasure, just step by step in the void, and every step of it, there is no light pattern. But every step of it, the distance spanning in the air, is longer than Li's eye. The other one is a young man, wearing a white feather coat, and the spiritual chi flowing out of his body, forming a majestic great treasure behind him, the atmosphere of his body, extremely strong great treasure. This person is Chen Donghai and is the same true disciple as Lin Taixu. He also has the same shapeshift great art as Lin Taixu, and this person's intercourse hand can't be attacked by his shapeshift great art great treasure naked body by 30 feet around the naked body, otherwise he will be traced to the breath. As soon as the young man came to the foot of a white cloud, the female cultivator next to Wei Suo immediately passed the surging sound. Great treasure, don't start, fellow Daoist Li, what happened to you? Northern Bright Sect Supreme Elder, wearing a green cloth shapeshift great art, is coming across the air. The secret place is back and forth, and the words are spoken, making it impossible for shapeshift great art to resist. Hong. But while G God King surging sound, Li's eye and Mystic Wind Sect's three great treasure cultivators are hard to fight, blocking a cyan jade clock in front of him all collapsed. Cyan Yuzhong rear, just appeared Origin Shadow, wearing a purple robes Mystic Wind Sect old antique surging sound suffocating, then fly backwards. Heim King, this person is completely crazy, useless, Mystic Wind Sect old antique, wearing a white robe, has a surging sound sternly shouted. I have an old intercourse with this person. He seems to have suffered a heavy blow to divine consciousness. Let me try it. G God King stepped out in a calm step and pressed one finger toward Li's eye. A mysterious cyan light pattern is instantly printed on Li's eye's head. This is the divine consciousness, the strong great treasure of the divine soul, shapeshift great art. Northern Bright Sect's shapeshift great art is amazing. All the presence of the Mystic Wind Sect cultivator suddenly felt like an invisible breeze spread out, and the whole head was clear. Almost at the same time, Li's eye's head woo screaming surging sound, immediately stopped. Lonely work. Several Mystic Wind Sect cultivators were paused. At the same time, a great treasure blue flame, coming from the east side, a skin color like snow white but, glamorous and fascinating palace dress girl, wrapped in a long, great treasure blue among the flowers. There is no noble atmosphere in the scattered. This noble female cultivator, with a rounded and slender blue great treasure stone, looks cold and cold, just when Lin Taixu is not there, instead of Lin Yuexu's Han Yuer. Han Yuer, she is also one of Mystic Wind Sect true disciple, Wei Suo. This female cultivator, you should be careful in the future. She is the sweetheart of the fear treasure of the fearless heavenly palace. The blue great treasure stone in her eyebrows is actually a strong great treasure of mystic rank middle grade percent shapeshift great art great treasure, named Guanggan Moon Palace. This thing, not only attacking powerful energy is amazing, but if it is not suitable for opponent, if necessary, you can use this great treasure, abandon the flesh and escape with divine soul. This great treasure, which can accommodate divine soul, is unbeaten for dozens of days, and the inside has its own shape possession of shapeshift great art, so the Mystic Wind Sect cultivator, which usually has this great treasure, is hard to kill. The female cultivator came out to Han Yu and couldn't help but a deep breath, and saw the round and slender blue great treasure stone in Han Yu's eyebrows. Her eyes flashed out a ruthless look. Fearless Heavenly Palace is also a sect of Heavenly Profound Continent, one of the 10 great sections. Wei Suo swept over and saw the blue great treasure stone in Han Yu's eyebrows, and suddenly thought of the Kainan King water seal of the young secret place young man. Ah! So scary, ah! But at this time, the strange surging sound in the head stopped. Li Ziyi is not normal, it is a surging sound, crazy, screaming, a round of gray-black crescent, toward the front. Mystic Wind Sect Old Antique, wearing a purple robe, suppressed the past. Hong. The Mystic Wind Sect Old Antique was in front of a few brilliances, and the opened mouth was sprayed. Even a glittering golden core with a twinkling brilliance was sacrificed. But the gray-black crescent moon cracked down, all the brilliance collapsed, 2.5 goose eggs, great treasure, small cyan and purple golden core, was beaten backwards. The body of this Mystic Wind Sect Old Antique, the naked body, is also violently shocked, and does not stop the great treasure coughing blood. Harem King, if you have another obstacle because of your obstruction, Mystic Wind Sect cultivator will fall again. Mystic Wind Sect and Northern Bright Sect are bound to intercourse evil. This person is completely crazy, you still don't kill this person with us? Above the three-legged golden furnace, Fen Tianfan had a fierce surging sound. The three-legged golden furnace, once again inflated, the golden divine fire bursts out in a circle, swaying the chi flame that burned the world. Hong. At this time, there was another strongman, a cultivator wearing a dark green shapeshift great art, a spiritual chi condense on his body, and a giant great treasure 3 times more than Wei Suo's door flying sword. The left and right black flying sword came. The cultivator wore a quaint black square. It looked like a 40-year-old man, and his face looked very chilly. The black spiritual chi, which was pulled out, formed a giant black hole in his body. Sun-eating Reverend. This now comes, it is actually a great treasure cultivator of the Fearless Heavenly Palace. Fearless Heavenly Palace's cultivator, the original whereabouts is more secret place, and just the female cultivator and Wei Suo mention Fearless Heavenly Palace and Han Yu, and now there is a famous treasure cultivator of Fearless Heavenly Palace. This sun-eating Reverend is one of the 3 great treasure supreme elders of the Fearless Heavenly Palace and the great treasure cultivator of the Golden Core 3rd layer. Sun-eating Reverend seniors, if you let this person escape, do not know how many innocent cultivators will fall into this person's hands. Seniors, please help us kill this person. When Han Yu saw the sun-eating Reverend coming down, it immediately had such a surging sound. Death. At the time of Han Yu surging sound, sun-eating Reverend has been a surging sound, with a strange luster under his feet, like a black oil like giant treasure black flying sword, already mad towards Li Ziyi come out. Hong. The golden chain on the 3-legged golden god furnace, like the dragon, is rolled toward Li Ziyi. Mystic Wind Sect true disciple Chen Donghai, wearing a white feather coat, reached out and a white mountain peeked out of the air, heading towards Li Ziyi's head. White robes Mystic Wind Sect Old Antique the white man's great treasure, the blue-white palace was once again. The strongest of the world, top-grade sex strong great treasure golden core cultivator, old antique and elite disciple, have been shot, the overwhelming powerful energy, covering the circle of Li Ziyi's hundreds of feet, so that Li Ziyi has no shapeshift great art dodge at all. Hong. There are gray-black magnificent light flashes, and countless brilliance fragments come out like a fireworks bloom. Ah! Li Ziyi slammed into the ground and smashed a great treasure pit into the ground, vomiting a blood in his mouth. Dead. Sun-eating Reverend a surging sound, the giant flying treasure's black flying sword hit Li Ziyi's head. Kill you. Li Ziyi reached for a stroke, and a black and grey curved moon made the black flying sword instantly smash. Do you think I only have such divine ability? Sun-eating Reverend a surging sound, sneer, the black flying sword that has been broken into a layer of flowing black water curtain covering hundreds of square feet, instantly shrouded sun-eating Reverend and Li Ziyi. Hong. Among the black water curtains came a surging sound, explosion, surging sound, and roaring, surging sound. These Li Ziyi are definitely falling. Almost all of Deepest Pool City's cultivator has this idea in mind. However, a scene in which everyone breathed for a pause appeared. A fluffy fly ash and a head flew out. This head turned out to be Sun-Eating Reverend. I saw Sun-Eating Reverend's head, 2 eyes licking great treasure, to die with the remaining grievance. Sun-Eating Reverend turned out to be killed by Li Ziyi, and the naked body was grey, leaving only 1 head. Kill you. Li Ziyi's figure swayed out of the black light curtain, and it was a grey-black brilliance on the back of the 3-legged golden god furnace. Ah! As a surging sound blew out, Fen Tianfan screamed a surging sound, and the 3-legged golden god furnace that was blown out of the body pressed against him, and he was not known. Seeing such a lust scene, the secret place is scattered and returning to true Qi. The Northern Bright Sect Supreme Elder Ji God King is also not changed by the face, hands, and fingers or intercourse, and a small shapeshift great art array is missed. A footprint like faint cyan brilliance appeared in front of Li Ziyi. Pu. Li Ziyi's grey-black crescent moon and this light cyan brilliance hit, Ji God King's hand-wrapped light pattern, instantly cracked, his hands on the fingers, there was a small wound, bleeding out of blood. But at the same time, a blue light column, from the eye of Han Yuer, hit Li Ziyi's chest. Li Ziyi's chest was pierced by this blue light beam, and the blood light was pulled out. However, he did not care about his wounds, but also a round of grey-black crescent, playing Chen Donghai and white robe in the white feathers. Ah, horrible. Then, as if he didn't notice it, he continued to move toward the front. For a time, so many strong people could not stop him. Xianfeng Temple, Lin Taixu is here too, in the Deepest Pool City. The female cultivator, which was completely shocked by this scene, suddenly became awkward. In the sky of the secret place, there was a very loud surging sound of Pangret treasure. This roaring surging sound is the surging sound of the mysterious temple when it is flying in the air. Oh, terrible ah! But Goofy, chest break open a secret place blood hole. Li Ziyi, unexpectedly is constantly back to stimulate a round of grey and black crescent moon, will be the presence of the strong force at all do not dare to move forward, and Li Ziyi unexpectedly is already know to escape general, to the bottom of the mountain, just a moment of time, Li Ziyi figure unexpectedly is disappeared in the sight of the crowd. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 580. Chapter 580 Dragon Chi Spillover. Ziyi actually escaped, /p. In Deepest Pool City, countless cultivators are exclaiming. There are 2 old antiques of Mystic Wind Sect, one of the unfamous Northern Bright Sect Supreme Elder, God King, a Supreme Elder of Fearless Heavenly Palace, a younger brother of Mystic Wind Sect Master, and 2 Mystic Winds. Sect's true biography of Great Treasure Disciple. With so many strong men, so many shocking and stunning characters joined forces to kill, even let Li Ziyi escape. And Supreme Elder of Fearless Heavenly Palace, Sun-Eating Reverend of Golden Core 3rd Layer, was actually killed by Li Ziyi. The golden foot of the 3-legged golden furnace is faint, and on the floor, Fen Tianfan, the younger brother of Mystic Wind Sect Master, is hit into the dust by the 3-legged golden furnace, and I don't know it. 2 of Mystic Wind Sect's old antiques, as well as the best of the generation of true disciple, wearing white feathers, like Chen Donghai, which is a prince in the cultivation world, were also hit hard. Li Ziyi is now completely mad, not hesitate to own, like a group of dry wood that is slowly burning, and now it is completely burned up. Before the strength is far away, the general cultivator of the Golden Core 4th Layer is not necessarily his opponent. /p. Wei Suo's is also a shock that can't be said. Originally in his judgment, It was the northern bright sect who had returned to the old man, true king, and the two of these strong men, Lazy Eye had to fall, but Lazy Eye was like this. Under the lust shape, you can still get away. Lin Taixu has arrived. Xianfen Tiandian can track his breath, he must be able to escape the pursuit of Lin Taixu, in order to be a real escape. Lazy Eye, this battle has completely angered the majesty of Mystic Wind Sect, and Mystic Wind Sect will definitely not let him go. He female cultivator said that the distant sky of the mysterious temple, surging sound, said to Wei Suo. And Tianfan has also suffered a lot, and even shapeshift great art can't do anything, /p. At this time, all the cultivators in Deepest Pool City saw that Han Yuer, who was cold as a water, reached out and pulled out the three-legged golden furnace that fell to the ground, and caught a seemingly comatose from below figure. Let's go. Immediately, the strong players on these battlefields continued to follow the direction of Lazy Eye's disappearance. These people really have to watch the fun. Wei Suo saw a lot of cultivators, and actually chased the city, and wanted to continue to follow. Wei Suo couldn't help but shake his head. Even if he had nothing to do with Mystic Wind Sect, he would definitely not be able to keep up with such a lust. Mystic Wind Sect, the majesty of this class of great sect, no one can offend, and now has not killed Lazy Eye, who knows whether these great treasures of Mystic Wind Sect will be angry and anger on other cultivators. We are also leaving. Hearing the more and more close to the roaring surging sound of the Xianfeng temple, Wei Suo immediately nodded to the female cultivator and Yin Liwa and immediately swept back to the residence of Deepest Pool City. After sweeping back to the residence of Deepest Pool City, Wei Suo immediately plunged into the quiet room in the residence with the female cultivator and Yin Liwa. Deepest Pool City, the divine light screen outside these residences is the shapeshift great art array of Earth attribute origin Qi, and Wei Suo stayed at the residence, under the guidance of green-robed old man, and in several quiet rooms. In addition, there is a restrictions of Earth attribute origin Qi, so in the secret place, even if Lin Taixu enters Deepest Pool City, it is impossible to feel the atmosphere of Wei Suo and others. Lightning Mystic Moon, one of the ancient 10 precious treasure top rank attacks, the shapeshift great art, so strong great treasure. I don't know sect like Northern Bright Sect and Mystic Wind Sect, and there is such a great treasure shapeshift great art. /p. After plunging into the quiet room, Wei Suo immediately took out the milky crystal stone hanging from his chest. If it wasn't for Lazy Eye's application of his great treasure annihilation golden core, attack him directly with the shapeshift great art attacked by divine consciousness. If it wasn't for this thing that caused Lazy Eye to suffer a serious divine consciousness backlash, Wei Suo can be sure that it is not an opponent of Lazy Eye at all. Is this thing for him divine consciousness backlash? What is this? /p. The eyes of Yin Liwa and female cultivator also gathered on the jujube crystal nucleus with a soft, creamy spirit light. The milky white nucleus in the cyan stone sphere still looks like nothing, and the secret place reveals the unpredictable breath of God's secret place. Treasure is like heaven, many mysterious, it is not what our level of cultivator can understand, /p. Looking at the nucleus on the nucleus like heaven's dome, Wei Suo had a surging sound sigh. Hong. After slowly recovering this milky white nucleus that could not be seen at all, Wei Suo reached out and put the ghostly heavenly dragon of Pang great treasure out. The female cultivator suddenly took a breath of air. Wei Suo itself is the quiet room of the most great treasure in the secret place, but the ancient heavenly dragon scorpion of the giant treasure is released, but it occupies the great treasure half room, seems to have suddenly moved. A hill was placed in this quiet room. Hong. As Wei Suo expected, this ancient heavenly dragon skeleton was released, and the ancient heavenly dragon soul, which was sealed inside his naked body, was shocked again. This is the great treasure of the Netherworld Palace, the heavenly dragon, which fell from Lazy Eye. It is the same kind of breath it feels, the ancient heavenly dragon is extremely rare, and it is the goal of the ancient great treasure to hunt artifact refinement. These ancient heavenly dragons may not be able to see the same kind in their lifetime. /p. At this time, Wei Suo felt it clear. The ancient heavenly dragon soul in his naked body is not to break away from the seal. This ancient heavenly dragon skeleton has been refined into a shapeshift great art device. It has long lost its vitality. This ancient dragon soul in his naked body, it is also impossible to blend with this heavenly dragon skeleton. Now this ancient heavenly dragon soul in his naked body, just feel the same kind of atmosphere, excited and excited. This kind of vibration, like a cultivator in the boundless wilderness, went alone for tens of thousands of years, finally met a cultivator and met one of his own kind. And this is the tremor of the heavenly dragon's cheekbones. This black is the original color of this cheekbones, this is the skeleton of the ancient iron dragon. It a black water raft that has been thundered and turned into a heavenly dragon. He female cultivator is also the first to see this heavenly dragon skeleton, full of tremors. This kind of black dragon flood turns into dragon, the ancient iron dragon, the iron skeleton, is said to not succumb to the power of any strong great treasure, is the unyielding god of war in the ancient heavenly dragon. Moreover, the ancient heavenly dragon's cheekbones almost resisted all of the origin Chi's shapeshift great art, and the ability to withstand the cultivator shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art great treasure powerful energy. Therefore, to refine the shapeshift great art great treasure, only the squared shapeshift great art can be used, and the shapeshift great art is engraved on the skeleton, and no other materials can be used at all. I can't think of this to the great treasure of Netherworld Palace, which is actually made from the bones of this heavenly dragon. He more eager the female cultivator was, the more he couldn't help but reach out and touch the black keel in front. The black keel is cold and hard, shining with the unruly cold light, and the rune engraved on it is like a strip of wound. The powerful energy of this thing, I am afraid there is at least the powerful energy above mystic rank middle grade. Wei Suo glanced at the female cultivator and reached out. A true Yuan stalked into the black heavenly dragon skeleton. On the black heavenly dragon's cheekbones, a dazzling black splendid light emerges immediately, condensing around the bones, like a resurrection of the dragon. And but Wei Suo's brow, but it was immediately wrinkled. What happened? Yin Liwa and the female cultivator couldn't help but look at Wei Suo. I can stimulate the powerful energy of this shapeshift great art great treasure, but it can't be controlled at all. This thing should be the shapeshift great art that is controlled by Netherworld Palace. Ei Suo frowned and looked at the heavenly dragon skeleton, which was scattered with the glory of the treasure. Etherworld Palace's uniquely controlled shapeshift great art, the brow of the female cultivator also wrinkled. This thing is also the inheritance of the Netherworld Palace lord to the great treasure, the cultivator of other Netherworld Palace, it is impossible to know. How can this serene emperor's to the great treasure be in the hands of Li Ziyi? Yin Liwa heard the sentence, and there was a deep stunned look in his eyes. You go out first, let me show other shapeshift great art, and try to find out if you can find the controls of shapeshift great art. Wei Suo gave a slight indulgence and said this to Yin Liwa and female cultivator. Li Ziyi will only be Netherworld Palace to inherit the lightning mystic moon, there is the symbol Netherworld Palace the Lord body the Nether heavenly dragon, this is really a lot of puzzled secret place, but for Wei Suo, these and he is irrelevant, the most important thing is to see if you can use this technique shapeshift great art, and see if there is no one special restrictions, otherwise be Netherworld Palace other fierce cultivator to find the door, it is also provoke to great treasure trouble. And this view of the shapeshift great art array, restrictions, naturally has to let green-robed old man come. Good. Yin Liwa and female cultivator also know that Wei Suo said that there is no hidden secret place that is inconvenient for the two to know, so the two have no nonsense. After nodding, they all came out of this quiet room. After Yin Liwa and the female cultivator came out of the quiet room, Wei Suo immediately took out a drop of fire earth dragon blood and dripped it into the gear shift great art array of ghost raising jar. Heavenly dragon. Wei Suo, where did you get such a heavenly dragon skeleton? Almost as soon as the fire earth dragon dripped into the ghost raising jar, green-robed old man's incredible screaming surging sound rang in Wei Suo's ear. Wei Suo is no stranger to this. This is the biography of the Netherworld Palace to the great treasure Heavenly Dragon. How come you wait and say that this thing seems to be uniquely controlled by shapeshift great art? Let's see if there are any special restrictions. Don't bring the powerful cultivator of Netherworld Palace to the door. Ieisuo immediately said to green-robed old man. Netherworld Palace. Heavenly profound continent northern part second great sect after northern bright sect. This kind of thing is in your hands. Rian-robed old man took another breath. Next, there was no surging sound for a while, and it was obvious that the heavenly dragon skeleton was carefully explored. Wei Suo. Fast, the shapeshift great art array above, there is a secret place to track the restrictions, and a secret place is a restriction similar to 1,000 locks, which can only be controlled with a special shapeshift great art. Then, green-robed old man's rushing surging sound immediately rang. This thing, you can't use it, fast, first destroy the secrets tracked by the secret place. Green-robed old man's rushing surging sound, a green light, flashed in a secret place on the heavenly dragon's forehead. There are tracking restrictions. Wei Suo's naked body suddenly became tight, without any hesitation. A thin dark gold sword chi suddenly squatted in the secret place green light guide. Dang! Wei Suo, this has already inspired the powerful energy of Dark Emperor sword chi to the most great treasure, but the killing is a spark that directly hits essence metal surging sound, which is heavenly dragon's cheekbones. There was no trace left on the head. This thing may be comparable to the essence metal you refine, you have to lick the rune gap above, so that you can get some damage. The surging sound of green-robed old man sounded immediately. Dang! Dang! Wei Suo divine consciousness swept away, didn't talk, and the thin dark gold sword chi kept squatting in a knife-like rune. After dozens of hits, this rune went up. A little bit of a gap. Pa. /P. A circle of black glow flashed, and the restrictions were destroyed by Wei Suo. At the same time, a handful of black August chi with Pang great treasure also emerged from the cracks of the crack. Dragon chi. Wei Suo, this is dragon chi. Many of the heavenly dragon skeletons are still in, and you are up. Rian-robed old man didn't talk first, it seemed to be a stay, but he immediately gave a surprise great treasure called surging sound. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 581. Chapter 581 Starlight Python Body. Dragon Chi? What is the use of this dragon chi? Looking at the black origin chi, which rose from a little bit of debris, Wei Suo's heart moved. Origin chi of heavenly dragon, unlike other ordinary monsters and true UN of our cultivator, is a result of the absorption of astral origin chi. Have you forgotten you? Heavenly dragon star body tempering technique. Green-robed old man cried. Heavenly dragon star quenching. Wei Suo's eyes just flashed, and the naked body suddenly floated up, his hands darting forward, and a giant breath of the giant treasure, also immediately dissipated from him. The black origin chi, which was formed in the keel crumb, was immediately sucked into his naked body. Sure enough to absorb. This little dragon chi is comparable to astral origin chi. Wei Suo's eyes glowed in the eyes. Originally, this black sorrow, the incomparable majestic black origin chi, is completely different from the cultivator's true UN. If it is usually introduced, it is introduced into the cultivator. In the naked body, it can't be merged at all, and it may cause a collision. But at this moment, Wei Suo uses the heavenly dragon star body tempering technique to imitate the ancient heavenly dragon. This black origin chi is integrated into these niches and is immediately refining into a group of extremely pure astral origin chi. In the sense of Wei Suo's, it is like a lot of astral origin chi falling in 9 days, being condensed and sending it into his own naked body. Just a little, it is worth a few days of painstaking cultivation. These astral origin chi oscillated and tempered in the Wei Suo's naked body, and Wei Suo instantly felt that his chi and blood and spirit had expanded a lot. Good. Sure enough, it can be used for your own use. Ancient heavenly dragon's cheekbones, great treasure, are mostly without shapeshift great art plus other origin chi materials, can only use their own bones. Can refine shapeshift great art great treasure. Refining the great treasure of this secluded heavenly dragon, the means is also very amazing, sealing the residual dragon chi in this heavenly dragon skeleton, just cheap. About you. As soon as I felt the slight change of breath on Wei Suo, green-robed old man immediately woke up. Wei Suo, this thing is not there anyway. Shapeshift great art uses, simply smash the above rune, and absorb dragon chi. Captured this truly ancient heavenly dragon's dragon chi, your heavenly dragon star quenched naked body. Cultivation will definitely advance to a terrifying degree. Alright, Wei Suo is just between the eyes flash, and the decision is made. Dang is a surging sound, and it is a dark gold sword chi. On the rune that has been cut down some debris. This heavenly dragon has no shapeshift great art controls, and it is in opposition to other origin chi, and there is no shapeshift great art used to refine the black bone dark lord. Equal to waste, it is better to use the culture heavenly dragon star body tempering technique. This heavenly dragon star body tempering technique, for him, is the most fundamental thing, raising the physical body and the golden core's cultivation base, which is heavier than a shapeshift great art great treasure. Dang. 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 After cutting for dozens of consecutive times, some debris is cut. A glimpse of dragon chi, then dissipated from the debris, and these debris immediately turned into dust, like a tens of thousands of years of experience. Bottom weathering. But the rest of the heavenly dragon's cheekbones, but there is no dragon chi flowing out, it seems that the rune is still a lot of scars on the bones. Sealed. SS. These scattered origin chi was immediately introduced into the naked body by Wei Suo using the heavenly dragon star body tempering technique to quench the body. Dang. 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 Among the quiet room, Dark Emperor sword chi is excited by surging sound and cutting essence metal like impact surging sound. Wei Suo, what's the matter? The outside female cultivator and Yin Liwa also felt abnormal, and there was a surging sound of concern. No problem, you come in, this thing has traced restrictions, it has been destroyed by me, and this thing has no shapeshift great art controls, I am now. It is used directly in cultivation. Because female cultivator and Yin Liwa are completely trustworthy, and now ghost raising jar has been taken over by him. So he has nothing to cover up, directly out of the surging sound to the female cultivator and Yin Liwa. Directly use this heavenly dragon cultivation. Both Yin Liwa and female cultivator are suspicious surging sounds. Can you absorb the origin chi of this ancient heavenly dragon? And plunged into this quiet room, I saw it at a glance. When Wei Suo absorbed the black origin chi cultivation, the female cultivator immediately responded and was shocked. This female cultivator is also a secret place with Wei Suo for so long, and her own identity is extraordinary, what she sees and touches is far from the general cultivator. Compared to Wei Suo still makes things that she has never seen before. Really made her feel. Wei Suo, this person is becoming more and more secret place, and it is less and less like a general cultivator. The shapeshift great art I got in Little Heavenly Realm can be used to absorb this ancient heavenly dragon chi and temper the flesh. Wei Suo took a look at Yin Liwa and female cultivator. I simply answered Yin Liwa's doubts. I'll help you get dragon chi from this ancient heavenly dragon skeleton. Yin Liwa watched Wei Suo while he was busy cutting the heavenly dragon bones, and from time to time, a dragon-like look, she couldn't help but laugh at a surging sound. Reaching out, a green light hit the place where Wei Suo's sword chi cut. I use shapeshift great art to be easily perceived by Lin Taixu. I will not help you. Female cultivator for Wei Suo chi sword chi, and immediately stretched out. As soon as the hand stretched out, it was a grin. Help. Yin Liwa took a shot and reminded Wei Suo that he saw Wei Suo immediately on his own treasure receiving pocket and took 2 black bone dark lords. They were all sacrificed, and the 2 black bone dark lords also came out with black beams in the place where Yin Liwa bombarded them. Blue fellow deist, help not let the inside of great treasure. Passing out quietly. At the same time, Wei Suo said this to the lively female cultivator. Before he and the female cultivator were in the underground cavern, the female cultivator displayed a transparent blister-like hydration mask that could isolate the surging sound and some spiritual chi. Fluctuating, so Wei Suo knows that the female cultivator will display the Steo technique shapeshift great art, which will not be felt by people of mystic wind sect. Good. Female cultivator does not deny. Direct hands move slightly, a transparent water mask is filled in this quiet room, will be 3 people and this. The ancient heavenly dragon skeleton is covered in it. Wei Suo, what kind of divine lord you used to refine your bones, how can it be so powerful, at least half of mystic rank, and I feel Wei Suo's. The powerful energy of the black light of the hyena, Yin Liwa suddenly changed slightly. This is a resurgence of ancient animals and dogs. After Wei Suo answered the sentence, he stopped talking, and the naked body floated up and put a dragon. Plus. Now under the bombardment of the 2 Black Bone Dark Lord and Yin Liwa, debris has been hit from time to time, resulting in a strip of black origin chi. Oh. These black origin chis are enough for Wei Suo to continue the culture heavenly dragon star body tempering technique, and each black origin chi is transformed into an angel. Origin chi are very pure and cohesive. Among inner vision, it is like a river with a star-shaped light, washed in the body of Wei Suo's naked body and collapse and scattered into countless stars. Shocked into the tiny corners of each secret place in the Wei Suo naked body. Under the impact of countless stars, a stalk of pain is so painful that it is in the Wei Suo's divine consciousness, as if the entire body was washed into pieces. Burn it up. Wei Suo's skin surface, and even reveals a little bit of light, just like countless fine sands are shining. But Wei Suo insisted on sticking his teeth, because he knew that the naked body was washed into pieces and burned, just because of the pain of the flesh. Influencing the illusion of divine consciousness, in fact, he feels that his body is getting stronger and stronger, and chi and blood are getting more and more great treasure. This is what the door is, shapeshift great art, so amazing, watching the lively female cultivator look awkward. She only feels that blood chi on Wei Suo is constantly expanding. The heat generated by the chi and blood flow of a strand of stock, like the hot atmosphere of the oven, continues to expand the great treasure. If she closes her eyes, she will. It will be thought that a body of giant treasure of ancient desolate is always a long great treasure. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 day, 2 days. Wei Suo is desperately insisting on perseverance, continuous non-stop culture. Hey! At noon 2 days later, the heavenly dragon's skull was completely split along several runes and divided into 4 or 5. At the same time, a circle of shapeshift great art is unique. The faint glow flashed and collapsed like a soap bubble. Immediately, the black origin chi of the great treasure group suddenly popped out like a fountain. The head of the heavenly dragon's cheekbones to the neck, connected with 2 endless and majestic dragon horns, all turned into dust. On top of this shapeshift great art great treasure, a part of the crucial shapeshift great art ruin was destroyed, and at least a fraction of dragon chi was blown out. The dragon chi, which was poured out by the great treasure, was introduced into the naked body by Weisuo. In the Weisuo's naked body, a macro great treasure surging sound was produced. The original female cultivator and Yin Liwa have stopped their hands, and they are all adjusting to cultivation. Only two black bone dark lords are bombarding this heavenly dragon skeleton, but it was this change at the moment, but it was a surprise to both female cultivator and Yin Liwa. Ka. 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 In Weisuo's naked body, there is a surging sound of the bones, and at the same time, a pair of colorful treasures, blood chi, from Weisuo's, is like a. The head beast finally completed the transformation, and broke the eggshell from a great treasure egg and showed the reveals. Weisuo, you. But then, both female cultivator and Yin Liwa exclaimed a surging sound. Because at this time, Weisuo's skin on the naked body, the starlight that is revealed is densely formed into a strip of light, and the entire naked body seems to be unbearable. This astral origin chi, and the pieces are split. Weisuo's mouth is also painfully opened, the hot air ejected in the mouth, actually formed a gas column. Boom. 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 Weisuo's heart, out of the surging sound like the great treasure drum, it feels the strong great treasure and terrifying of chi and blood in the naked body. However, the light pattern on Weisuo's body is not cracked, and gradually disappears, while the skin on Weisuo shows a strange luster. Shining a piece of luster like silver scales. Hong. Weisuo closed his mouth, and chi and blood, who had a strong great treasure, shook a wave of air. His naked body fell to the ground and stopped the culture. He used to be completely silent in inner vision cultivation, knowing nothing about the signs he showed, but at the moment he opened his eyes and watched. To his skin is like a piece of silver scales of strange luster, his eyes instantly burst into a surprise look. Starlight Python body. That's it? At this time, Weisuo did not know that there were 3 female cultivators and 2 male cultivators, which had entered the deepest pool city and went to the notice board of deepest pool city. Pu. At the same time, just above the secret place of the deepest pool city, a secret place over the wilderness, a body is also extremely strong great treasure, originally holding a jade plate. The shapeshift great art great treasure, the old man with a look of stunned look, suddenly looked grey and vomited a blood. Lizi is crazy, nether heavenly dragon is also ruined, God, are you going to die for my nether world palace? The old man who vomited a bloody sip, instantly became very old, out of the bloody surging sound. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 582. Chapter 582 700 Spiritual Stones. Do you want one at a time? Oh. In the quiet room, the 2 black bone dark lords also stopped completely, and Weisuo, who was full of surprises, grabbed the ground. On the hard stone ground, 5 gullies were dug up, just like being smashed by 5 handles. Weisuo's finger, intact, stone powder falling. It's just such a short time, your meat has been repaired to this point, the female cultivator couldn't help but spit out her tongue. She couldn't help but stretch her fingers to play the skin on Weisuo's hand. The skin on Weisuo's hands is very soft, and it doesn't seem to make any difference from the general cultivator's skin, but it gives a very tough feeling, like a leather shapeshift great art great treasure tire naked body in general. At this time, the female cultivator has already seen that the strange luster on Weisuo is a natural reflection after the meat has been condensed to a certain extent. This time is not short. Upon hearing the female cultivator, Weisuo looked at the smile of the female cultivator and Yin Liwa. Fortunately, dragon chi of this heavenly dragon skeleton, or repairing this starlight python body, it is necessary to continue to repair it. 2 years. Do you have to continue repairing for 2 years? The female cultivator's brow couldn't help but jump. She is also very clear that unless it is a few repairs to refining into addiction, it is generally impossible not to do anything else, just retreat and retreat, even if it is not repaired, divine consciousness will exhausted, rest. Therefore, the time required for normal repairs and repairs must be at least doubled, at least 4 or 5 years. Starlight Python body, what does it mean? After looking at Weisuo, the female cultivator couldn't help but ask. Now in her eyes, Weisuo is simply a secret place guy who is completely no less than the great section. If someone like him can repair the refined into it for 4 or 5 years, it is certainly amazing. Starlight Python body is the temperament of the meat, equivalent to a Starlight Mad Python, Weisuo explained. Starlight Mad Python is the level 6 of the monster beast. The strength of the meat is estimated to at least withstand the powerful energy of the spirit rank. Your flesh is now as tyrantic as Starlight Mad Python, isn't it? Hearing Weisuo, the female cultivator and the Yin Liwat are both vividly changing their faces. I don't dare to try it directly with spirit rank. Let's try half a spirit rank first. Weisuo nodded and reached for a move, but placed his body in a treasure receiving pocket without shapeshift great art great treasure and took out a black iron ring like shapeshift great art. This thing was also picked up in the Night Mountain. The power is exactly half spirit rank, compared to Weisuo's current cultivation base. This thing is thrown like a rubbish in the treasure receiving pocket. When spiritual stones Hwaju may not use this thing, but now it is just to try it out. Look at this shapeshift great art great treasure for me. Let me try it. After taking out this item, Weisuo directly lost it to the female cultivator. Do you use the meat directly to pick up the shapeshift great art instrument? Don't rot this hand. Yin Liwa looked at Weisuo's white, tender hand, rubbed his eyes and couldn't help but think of it. Then you are careful. Female cultivator took a look at Weisuo, reaching for a surging sound, the black iron ring turned into a black light, and shot toward Weisuo. Pa! Weisuo reached out and grabbed the black light in his hand. Boom! At the same time, the chi and blood in Weisuo's naked body slammed a bit, and a group of oven-like breath blew. When I suddenly touched this black iron ring, Weisuo felt that the palm of the hand was swaying, and the whole arm was slightly numb, but then the chi and blood of the naked body strong great treasure. Weisuo only felt himself a naked body, a hot, cannot tell the dragon and fierce, all the feelings of discomfort disappeared, and the ring was forcibly caught in the hands. I have the strength, I don't know how many times the great treasure. At the moment of catching this ring, Weisuo only feels that he can even fly a boulder with a great treasure than himself. It can be beaten with a punch, not by true Yuan, but by the naked body. I don't know how many runs. What makes Weisuo even more exciting is that his chi and blood are now flowing, not only the degree of refining naked body, but also several times faster, even true Yuan in the naked body. There has been a state of deficit. This kind of deficit is not the loss of true Yuan. It is the naked body of the equivalent to cultivator. It is a bottle containing true Yuan. Now the bottle's naked body has become great treasure, so it seems that there is not enough true Yuan. Now Weisuo naked body because of the role of the wonderful tree fragments, he does not need to deliberately repair it now. The true Yuan in the naked body will slowly make up, and the amount of true Yuan in the naked body is even more horrible treasure, the dipping of the golden core. The effect is even stronger, and the golden core will be inflated again. Now is a short time, but Weisuo has completely felt this change, feeling his own golden core, there is a tendency to expand again. Weisuo, you have nothing in your hand, it's really a paw of Starlight Mad Python. Yin Liwa didn't know that there was a deeper change in the Weisuo naked body. She just saw that Weisuo spread his hand, the ring was lying on his palm, and Weisuo's palm had no scars. It is white, tender, and tender. Chi and blood is the more powerful treasure, the more powerful the great treasure. Even if you are hit hard, you will definitely recover more than others. The female cultivator also looked at Weisuo's hand, couldn't help but say this, and then glanced at the heavenly dragon skeleton with the great treasure half. Your door, shapeshift great art, if this is left, heavenly dragon after the original chi in the cheekbones is also refining, how will your flesh become stronger? Maybe you can fix the starlight flood dragon body directly. Hearing the female cultivator, Wei Suo's heart suddenly slammed, and his eyes gathered together on the ancient heavenly dragon's cheekbones, which had only one head and neck. According to the heavenly dragon's star body tempering technique, the heaven-level top-rank shapeshift great art is divided into starlight python body, starlight flood dragon body, starlight dragon body and heavenly dragon shapeshift great art. 4 layers of realm. The time for repairing each layer is probably doubled. That is to say, if the starlight python body is repaired at least for 4 to 5 years, then it will be repaired to the meat and then again great treasure. The starlight flood dragon body of amplitude transformation will take at least 10 or even 20 years. But now this ancient heavenly dragon skeleton has a great treasure half. Look at the autumn chi inside the origin chi, at least 3 or 4 times the previous absorption of origin chi. In this way, it is very likely that you can really break through to starlight flood dragon body. Starlight flood dragon body, the temperament of the meat, the equivalent to the average level 7 dragon, throughput mist, can form astral wind, towering ancient trees, are easily pulled up. And the strong great treasure of life, it is estimated that as long as it is not the damage of the fatal heart arteries, even if there is a hole in other places, do not need a spicy herb, you can grow well. And the most powerful thing is that the meat and the flesh and bones are estimated to be comparable to the shapeshift great art great treasure powerful energy of the spirit rank middle grade. And even if the body can directly withstand spirit rank middle grade shapeshift great art great treasure impact, Do Yin shapeshift great art, no one will be naked, hard to live the raw light body naked the other side of the shapeshift great art great treasure, in the shapeshift great art clothing lust conditions, which means that perhaps Deo rank, even mystic rank shapeshift great art great treasure recklessly, the fierce concussion, meat can withstand the body, will not be instantaneous. Vibration control cannot be true even injured. This is especially important when it comes to using golden core. If the two sides are the same as the golden core powerful energy, the meat of one side is fragile, so it must be unbearable, and it will be hit by the other side. Do you want to continue to repair? Seeing that Wei Suo couldn't surging sound for a while, looking at the ancient heavenly dragon of the Ponte great treasure, Yin Liwa looked at Wei Suo deeply. If that's the case, then I will leave first. Go back to Yin Corp's section. So rushing back to Yin Corp's sect, Wei Suo's slight glimpse. There is no banquet in the world. Besides, the flowers are intentional, and there may not be lust in the water. Yin Liwa looked at Wei Suo and smiled. This time, although I didn't get the Deo technique shapeshift great art from Netherworld Palace, I have already felt that I must die by Yin Meili. I secretly go back and design it to count him. Maybe there is a chance for great treasure success. What is falling in intentional flow may not be lust. Wei Suo looked at Yin Liwa with a bit of depression. There is a lust in the water, you are not going to be your sect master. To tell the truth, there are still some people who can't let go. At least a lot of people are on my side. There are quite a few people who have some kind of lust to me. If I don't go back, Yin Meili must deal with them. If there is lust in the water, then, after I dealt with Yin Meili, I will come back to find this water. Yin Liwa looked at Wei Suo, and it was a grin. This girl is beautiful, or wonderful furnace cauldron, so open, I like intercourse. At this time, the surging sound of green-robed old man suddenly rang in Wei Suo's ear. This green-robed old man doesn't know when it was sneaking out. He couldn't help but roll one's eyes when he heard his surging sound. If you have a little bit of peace of mind for me, can you tell me what sharpshift great art I can use, or how can I use the powerful shapeshift great art great treasure? Yin Liwa smiled a little while seeing Wei Suo turn over the roll one's eyes. Alright, this time, Wei Suo is serious, and he is going to pass on Yin Liwa Dark Emperor Sword Chi, or simply give her half of the mystic rank or the set of thunder. After all, for Wei Suo, Yin Liwa is also a trustworthy intercourse of life and death. You want to go back to Cloud Spirit Great Treasure? Or I just want to go with her to Cloud Spirit Great Treasure. When I heard this secret place, the female cultivator was somewhat decided. I also looked at Wei Suo. Maybe I can help her. You also go to Cloud Spirit Great Treasure. This Wei Suo is a slight glimpse, but he reacts in an instant. The female cultivator is because of the Great Treasure of Mystic Wind Sect, and wants to go to the Cloud Spirit Great Treasure first. That's fine. Wei Suo himself wants to help green-robed old man find something condensed, and there is no shapeshift great art to go to Cloud Spirit Great Treasure. And at the moment he still has a secret that he did not say, that is, he suspects that Heaven's Dome will collapse at any time. If Heaven's Great Treasure's Heaven's Dome collapses, then there must be chaos. Finding green-robed old man's condensed things is definitely hard to find. Now he is thinking about whether to prepare a letter, and let Yin Liwa take it to Xuanhuan Old Ancestor, and let Xuanhuan Old Ancestor help Yin Liwa. Because Xuanhuan Old Ancestor has already broken through to the Golden Core third layer, the status of Cloud Spirit Great Treasure is definitely not what it used to be. 700 spiritual stones. Do you want it all at once? At this time, a surging sound was transmitted from outside the secret place by a sound transmission shapeshift great art device in the quiet room. They are here. Wei Suo jumped up almost at once and was happy. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 583. Chapter 583. I want to grab. Go, let's pick them up and talk about it. After Wei Suo said this to the female cultivator and Yin Liwa, he immediately swept away, and even the two black-bone Dark Lords and the heavenly dragon skeleton of the Pangretic treasure were not collected. Is his Dao companion here? What kind of character is his Dao companion? Looking at the singularity, a pair of Wei Suo, the female cultivator, who had no time to pick up the quiet room, had such a thought. 700 spiritual stones once, this is the whisper of their joints? How come you think of this sentence? Yin Liwa, but how do you feel that this connector is a bit weird? Jia, Han Weiwei, and Nangang Yuking stood outside the divine light screen of the secret place, and Zhang Zhuoyu and Shi Zhongqing stood behind Jia and others. 5 people are the divine light screen in front of the eye, although in addition to Wei Suo, it is estimated that no second person will shamelessly think of using this sentence to make the connector code, but these 5 people are still extremely worried. In the unlikely event that Wei Suo is not there, is this a trap? Why are there no surging sounds yet? It was only after a while that Han Weiwei felt that it was a long time. What if this guy really had an accident? At this time, this outstanding but little beauty suddenly thought that because she couldn't be a qualified alchemist, she met this guy for the first time at Rare Treasure Pavilion Cultivation. After that, she would have great treasures for most of the lust, including going out to kill monster beast and earning spiritual stones. Anything is also listening to this guy's arrangement. This thought made her feel scared, because she always felt that as long as she had her own senior sister, but now she suddenly lost this guy, and she has a feeling that she does not know what to do. You have finally arrived. I am really afraid of what I am going to do. Come in and come in quickly. Just as Han Weiwei was wondering what happened to Wei Suo, how was it going, the spirit light curtain suddenly had a gap, and a white-faced cultivator was extremely excited inside, and it was a ghostly brain. Looking around, I desperately waved to Han Weiwei and others. Who are you? Han Weiwei's head still had some reaction, but said this. I can't hear my surging sound. Sorry, forget that I used the easy surging sound pill. Wei Suo looked at the makeup, strange and familiar figure, and was too excited at the moment. Looking at the left and right, no one, directly reaching out, reveals the original face. Is this no problem? Wei Suo, When Jia saw Wei Suo's face, he fell softly. Jia, what's wrong with you? When Wei Suo saw Jia at first glance, he already felt that Jia had broken through the cultivation base of the golden core stage. He wanted to make two sentences, but now when he saw that Jia suddenly fell softly, he suddenly scared to death. Tru Yuan wrapped it, and Jia was in his arms. What are you asking? Han Weiwei and Nangang Yuking, as well as Zhang Zhuoyu and Shi Zhongqing, immediately swept into the spirit light. Spirit light curtain just closed. Han Weiwei doom stare at Wei Suo's eyes scold. Do you know, senior sister, here you are, that what young master after the capture of how worried you, so many cities come over. She didn't rest a moment, even if the other golden core second layer third layer arrived here cannot have her fast. You also ask her now what? Wei Suo, Nangang Yuking didn't have Wei Suo, and looked at it intact, even Wei Suo, who had no hair, and Nangang Yuking's eyes rose into a fog. Originally, Zhang Zhuoyu and Shi Zhongqing were also preparing to shoot Wei Suo, but as soon as they saw the situation, the two men immediately looked at each other with a good interest and stayed on the side and did not speak. You are still innocent. The death of Wei Suo. Han Weiwei saw Wei Suo still look depressed and innocent. Suddenly more fire, great treasure, could not help but grabbed Wei Suo's hand, bite a bite. Ah! Let Han Weiwei a surging sound exclaimed, she bite down. Wei Suo's hand skin is not broken a little, her teeth are instead made a faint pain. Do you still dare to use Tru Yuan to shock me? Han Weiwei looked at Wei Suo with some incredulity. Where can I use Tru Yuan to shock you? Wei Suo is still innocent. In fact, he is indeed very innocent. He said that he was stunned. It was also Su Xuanhuan's own statement. Now it hurts Han Weiwei's teeth. It's also his starlight python body. It's thick, and with his Tru Yuan, there's nothing at all. Relationship. At this time, Wei Suo has already felt that Jia is just too tired of divine consciousness. Besides seeing him safe and sound, his mind is loose, so he will lose his strength and fall down. As long as he has a rest, there should be no problem, so Wei Suo is in his heart. However, I have already breathed a sigh of relief. While watching Jia and others standing on the side, I was only interested in Zhang Zhuoyu and Shi Zhongqing, who nodded and nodded. Wei Suo's heart also had an indescribable touch. With Tru Yuan, is your hand iron, so hard? What are they? When Han Weiwei was holding Wei Suo's hand, he suddenly saw the female cultivator and Yin Liwa from the inside. Yin Liwa, Jia had seen Yin Liwa, so she recognized Yin Liwa at once. Now she has a little divine consciousness. She wanted to earn herself to stand up, but she earned 2 times, but Wei Suo did not put her. For a moment her face suddenly became blushing. Yin Liwa, how could she be here? Han Weiwei didn't wake up when Wei Suo went to Yin Corp sect to kill Yeling, but he also listened to Yin Ya, said Yin Liwa, so now I heard the eye-like wave of the female cultivator, she suddenly oh. This is his Dao companion Jia. In the eyes of the female cultivator, there is a faint brilliance flashing. Jia and others are also easy to understand, but her surgery shapeshift great art, but it is easy to see through this simple changing appearance, Jia and other people's true face, all down to her eyes. The 3 female cultivators are such a stunning beauty, and Jia is really the first beauty of Spirit Peak City. This female cultivator was just curious. I wanted to see what Wei Suo's Dao companion looks like. After reading it, she is really ready to follow Yin Liwa to Cloud Spirit Continent because she knows better than anyone. Mystic, what kind of strength does sect like Wind Sect have? And this strength is not something that she and the current Wei Suo can violate. But now see Jia and Nangang Yuking, Han Weiwei true face, and see Jia struggle not to take off, give up struggling, motionless snuggle in Wei Suo bosom of shy posture. This female cultivator heart, has produced a kind of relief. Indeed, like Jia, this female cultivator, is indeed any male cultivator all dream Dao companion, but his heart, is filled with a kind of unspeakable lust thread. This is blue fellow deist, and I have a miscourse of intercourse lust, and I have a life-saving grace at this time. Wei Suo nodded to the female cultivator, and turned to call Zhang Zhuayu and others. Walk, the twists and turns in this area are not explained at the moment, and it is set inside, and to be honest, we are not safe now. Wei Suo, is this? You are not afraid of Ji Ya jealous? When he plunged into the quiet room, Wei Suo took the hand of Nangong Yuking. Although Nangong Yuking just called him a surging sound, he hadn't had time to talk to him, but he knew that Nangong Yuking was definitely worried about death during this time. His movement, between Dao companion, can be said to be everything. Nangong Yuking is also very clear about his mind. But his action is to make Yin Liwa great treasure a pair of eyes. Ahem, Wei Suo coughed two surging sounds, and I was embarrassed to explain, she is Nangong Yuking and my Dao companion. She is also your Dao companion. Yin Liwa couldn't help but look back at Wei Suo's. I really can't see you. I am not her Dao companion. Seeing Yin Liwa's gaze on his body, Han Weiwei immediately waved his hand. Oh. Looking at Han Weiwei, Yan Liwei, who is desperately defending, has a deep smile. She is also his Dao companion. The female cultivator looked at Nangong Yuking again, and the unspeakable lust in her heart was even stronger. Wei Suo, how can you and the true martial sect young master Su Jianhuan avenge? You said that we are not safe now. What is going on? Nangong Yuking, who had already settled down at this time, immediately asked Wei Suo. This is really a long story. I have to talk to Li Ruohe and the heavenly profound continent northern part. Wei Suo eyes flash. Right, do you know the news of Li Ruohe? He has returned to the spirit beast palace. Ji Ya made a fortune. This time Wei Suo didn't hold her and let her stand up. We took the spirit protecting ancient talisman from Xian Yalan's hand and rushed over fast. We learned from Xian Yalan's mouth that Li Ruohe has returned to the spirit beast palace, but the rest of the people are also lost. After standing up, Ji Ya's face still has some blushing explanation. Hey, what do you say? And you are the intercourse of life and death, the result is also greedy for life. I dare not come with you to save you. Han Weiwei heard that Ji Ya spoke of Li Ruohe and suddenly scorned a surging sound. He is not greedy for life, just as the palace lord of the spirit beast palace, worried about the foundation of the spirit beast palace, otherwise he will die when he is dead. The spirit beast palace is not a dead one, but a great treasure. It is. Wei Suo smiled very well and shouted at Yin Liwa. Ji Ya, blood spirit old ancestor has not succeeded in divine mystic realm. It has fallen. Yin Liwa is now half a Yin Corp section master, and Xuanhuan old ancestor has broken through the cultivation base of the golden core third layer. Later, if we go to Cloud Spirit Continent, there are some backers. On the basis of your great treasure, you have to rely on mountains. Yin Liwa gave Wei Suo a white look. Wind great treasure, he should not leave me alone. What about the two guys? Wei Suo smiled and looked at Zhang Zhuayu and Shi Zhongqing. They are left to prepare for your revenge. Wrong, maybe it is to avenge us, because if you really fall in the hands of true martial sect, it is estimated that we have to fight with you at most, and have finished playing together. Zhang Zhuayu looked at Wei Suo. You hurry to talk about what is going on. How can true martial sect young master think of using such awkward means to deal with you? It is impossible to think about it. How is his identity? Will you be a rogue cultivator like you? Can you grab his fiancée? I really want to grab his fiancée and mad at him, but I have to grab the key. Wei Suo heard Zhang Zhuayu say this, and some of his secret place. He smiled and said, but I've really broken his good deeds, and you can't really imagine who his fiancée is. This guy. When we heard Wei Suo and Zhang Zhuayu say this, the female cultivator suddenly felt a bit tickle, and I couldn't wait to bite Wei Suo. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 584. Secret place. Secret cannot be said in chapter 584. Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan's fiancé is actually Xuanhuan, one of his 7 apertures immortal pill. Was you robbed? You have broken through the cultivation base of the golden core second layer. Is it so dangerous in Qingcheng ruins? If the whole spiritual valley is divided by you, then this is more great treasure's luck. You also robbed him of a pure void vine in front of Mystic Wind sect? Even Mystic Wind sect has to deal with you. You killed even the Supreme Elder Coiling Dragon Reverend of Xuanhui Reverend and True Martial section. From the beginning to the end, Wei Suo said that the ins and outs of the matter of lust were said in a concise manner, and this time, suddenly, it was a loss. Even Zhang Zhuayu, who has always been with Wei Suo's temper, can only say Wei Suo to you silently. Taking another class of medicine pill, even Supreme Elder of the other sect Golden Core third layer kills. This is not a general small enmity, but how can not resolve the great treasure revenge? And Wei Suo is not offending one, but directly offended two. There are not many debts, anyway, one cannot afford it, and it is no different to offend one or two. Wei Suo is a smile of hee, and he has such a surging sound. Anyway, he still had some shrinkage before, but after confronting people like Su Qianhuan and Lin Taixu, he was not afraid of boiling water and was completely let go. Before he was, if he had a conflict with sect disciples such as Mystic Wind sect and True Martial sect, he might consider the other's background and be patient. But now, anyway, it has already provoked it. When the time is to control the other party's disciple, it is still a prince. If it is not good for him, he will not stay. Then what is going on with your hand? Han Weiwei's teeth still have a little bit of pain, so she still remembers Wei Suo's hand, and she now sees that the skin on Wei Suo is a bit silvery from time to time, and it looks a bit odd. This is what I built into Starlight Python body. When he heard Han Weiwei ask, Wei Suo said that he would tell Li Ziyi about it. Real ancient heavenly dragon skeleton? You actually got a real ancient heavenly dragon skeleton? Li Ziyi is being mad at you. Jia and Nangong Yuking and others suddenly couldn't speak. Although their pedestrians were all along the trails of Wei Suo, they found that there was no stop on the road, but when they passed through the 2 cities along the way, the pedestrian heard Netherworld Palace Reverend Li Ziyi crazy, and Mystic Wind sect news of the great power of the great treasure. Now that Li Ziyi has escaped from the siege of so many strong men, it can be said that it has shaken the entire heavenly profound continent northern part, but they never thought of it. Even this matter is related to Wei Suo. The real ancient heavenly dragon skeleton, what is it like? Let me see. Han Weiwei was excited when he heard that there was an ancient heavenly dragon skeleton that he couldn't see at all. Fellow Daoist Wei, now that you have waited for them, or else I have to go with Yin Liwa. Fellow Daoist, leave first. Wei Suo and Jia, Han Weiwei and others haven't seen it for a long time. This intercourse talk is very normal, but I don't know why. The female cultivator has a feeling of being thrown out of the circle and being left out, so she is forbearing at this time. Lived and said this sentence. Go now. Wei Suo didn't have any deep thoughts about shapeshift great art. He shook his head immediately. The great treasure said, don't be so anxious, maybe Lin Taixu is still nearby, wait a few days here, then we will send you out the heavenly profound continent northern part, which is safer. That's good, you talk slowly. I will go back to the retreat first, and then call me when you leave. After hearing Wei Suo say that he was leaving, he saw that Wei Suo didn't care to say the sentence, and then turned around and talked to Han Weiwei and others. The female cultivator suddenly had a bit of pain, saying after the sentence, one flashed into the other quiet room inside. Wei Suo, is this blue fellow Daoist a bit lonely? I don't want to talk to people more than intercourse. As soon as I saw the female cultivator, Nangong Yuking couldn't help but ask for Wei Suo. Not at all. Usually, except for a bit of a mother, he is quite normal. Wei Suo looked at the female cultivator and sneaked it out. It was also very boring. I don't think you will reunite for a long time. There must be something to say in private. Yin Liwa is also looking at Wei Suo with a deep smile. The last time I saw you was a Dao companion, this time you will become two. When you see you next time, you will not change. It became three. Well, I don't delay your whispering. When you are ready to leave, call me again then. Waiting for what Wei Suo said, Yin Liwa waved his hand and swept it out. I don't think this is just a false alarm. After seeing Yin Liwa rushing out, Zhang Zhuayu immediately confronted Wei Suo, but it is best for me and Shi Zhongqing to go back to find them. Do you both go back first? Wei Suo looked at Zhang Zhuayu with some puzzles. Why? According to our previous plan, if you died in the hands of true martial sect, let the old winds use heaven mending pellet to find a great sect intercourse that is not right for true martial section. The method of shapeshift great art intercourse to the great section. Now that you are all right, if true martial sect is a bad news, let the old winds hear them. If they go out the shapeshift great art intercourse of heaven mending pellet, it's not good. A great sect refines the heaven mending pellet, and sometimes the outside cyan beetle's monster core will be scraped, and the otherwise scarce materials will become scarce. Zhang Zhuayu looked at Wei Suo and explained, and the transmission of the shapeshift great art array can't be used this week. It takes a lot of time to get back, so for the sake of insurance, it is best for me and Shi Zhongqing to go back immediately. Anyway, our two identities are ordinary, and there will be no danger along the way. As for you, you can leave this secret place when you are safe enough. Yes, if it's a great sect of hundreds of thousands of disciples, refining the heaven mending pellet and refining the material of the heaven mending pellet, I'm afraid it will be swept away. Wei Suo knows that even though the disciples tens of thousands of great sects, after the shapeshift great art of heaven mending pellet, may not be assigned to each disciple, but the elite disciple is a lot of money to consume. The amount of heaven mending pellet consumed will be amazing. And this amazing medicine pill that can make great treasure divine. See, any sect will not be too much, it must be the first great treasure to scrape the material, and the great treasure stores the heaven mending pellet. After a slight indulgence, Wei Suo's face became more dignified, and then, this heaven mending pellet is more important to us. More important, Wei Suo, what do you mean by this? Zhang Zhuayu heard that Wei Suo's words didn't seem to be meaningful. I asked immediately. This time I got a copy of the ancient cultivation world at Qingcheng ruins. According to the above, this heaven's dome is very likely to be the same as I expected. It is really time to collapse. Wei Suo watched Zhang Zhuayu and Ji Ya and others, and our heavenly profound continent's heaven's dome, the most powerful power loss, may break up at any time. What? Zhang Zhuayu and Ji Ya and others are suddenly awkward. The life of heaven's dome is coming, and it will burst at any time. This kind of news is so shocking that it is shocking and unbelievable. Heaven's dome is really going to crash. How much time does the naked body great treasure have? Nangang Yuking took a deep breath and couldn't help but look at Wei Suo. How long is the time for the naked body? I have been looking at the cracks here. I thought it would start to collapse. Seeing that there was no crack recently, I was not sure. Wei Suo looked at Nangang Yuking and others and said, but from now on, be sure to prepare for the collapse within a few years. This news cannot be spread out. Nangang Yuking immediately looked at Wei Suo. This is natural, but Li Ruohe and I do have some intercourse lust. If you two go back this time, you can tell him the news and say that I told him. Wei Suo nodded and looked at the shocked Zhang Zhuayu and Shi Zhongqing. This news is too shaking. If by some level great sect no news, perhaps even divine mystic realm cultivator will be completely alarmed, at all costs to find the source of information. Then if the news is indeed correct, these levels great sect spell life preparation, while the rest of the sect and cultivator a panic, perhaps in heaven's dome cracking, the entire heavenly profound world, continent, have been completely messed up. With Wei Suo's current cultivation base and identity, he did not feel that he could be a savior, to save the cultivation world. In what danger, to fight the idea of the sky. All he wants now is that he can find what he needs before he can get rid of heavenly profound continent. He can improve himself and his own cultivation base, be able to protect himself, and then get a safe place to stay. Cyan beetles, monster core and so on. I really got a lot of people this time. You will take it back this time and try to refine the heaven mending pellet. At least, first refine the number of heaven mending pellets you need. After reading Zhang's Huayu and Shi Zhang Qing 1I, Wei Suo will be a treasure receiving pocket directly to 2 people, and then directly again Hao Dai's Sinan and his body. 2 pieces of gold shapeshift great art great treasure were taken out and handed over to them. This Haoshan Sinan is a mystic rank shapeshift great art great treasure. These 2 golden shapeshift great art Gria T treasure are Deo rank high grade shapeshift great art great treasure. You take them first, the road will be more safe, but this Hao Dai's Sinan is I from the Xuanhuan Reverend. If not, don't use it whenever you are in a hurry. Well, that's not too late. Let's go back now. After Zhang's Huayu and Shi Zhangqing put together these 3 shapeshift great art great treasures, they left without any hesitation. The 2 men took Xi and Yalan's spirit protecting ancient talisman on the body. As for the top grade spirit protecting ancient talisman on Wei Suo, because Wei Suo is also preparing to escort Yin Liwa back to Cloud Spirit Continent, which may be used for long distances. Long distance transmission of the shapeshift great art array, so there is no intercourse for the 2, staying on their own. Wei Suo, are you going to refining the ancient heavenly dragon skeleton before leaving the secret place? After Zhang's Huayu and Shi Zhangqing left, Wei Suo and Ji Ya, Nangong Yuking and Han Weiwei, who were almost dead, said that after a conversation, Ji Ya asked Wei Suo about his next plan. Go to the quiet room where I placed the heavenly dragon skeleton. After Wei Noo nodded, he and the 3 men swept past the most great treasure quiet room where the heavenly dragon skeleton was placed. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 585. Chapter 585 Keel Metamorphosis. As Wei Suo plunged into the quiet room of the most great treasure, Han Weiwei immediately took a sigh of relief as soon as he saw the Ponte Greta treasure, which filled almost the entire quiet room. The power of the ancient heavenly dragon is really unimaginable. Ji Ya and Nangong Yuking were also completely shocked. On the keel of Pang Great Treasure, there is not only the long way of the Ponte Great Treasure, but also the ancient accumulation of eternal, endless years. It is this vast and majestic atmosphere that has made them feel as if they are in the face of ancient greed treasures. If it is a living ancient heaven, it is how powerful it is. Have you heard the news that Li Ziyi was defamed or killed when you came here? Wei Suo first looked at Ji Ya and Nangong Yuking and asked. No, we just heard Li Ziyi killing a few strong people outside this deepest pool city, and then got out and left. It is said that Li Ziyi alone had 6 or 7 golden core great treasure cultivators on the same day, killing Fearless in an instant. Supreme Elder Sun-Eating Reverend of Heavenly Palace Golden Core 3rd Layer, playing Sun-Eating Reverend with only 1 head flying out, the power is like ancient God. King Nangong Yuking looked at Wei Suo and shook his head. That battle is indeed heaven-shaking. Li Ziyi heaven level top rank shapeshift great art lightning mystic moon's powerful energy, which makes people feel like shapeshift great art. Wei Suo said, there were 2 strong men from Northern Bright Sect and Fearless Heavenly Palace to help the siege. Mystic Wind Sect was not able to kill Li Ziyi in the lust of the great treasure cultivator. It can be said that it is a face lost. If Li Ziyi has already been killed, it will definitely come out with great treasure, and it can promote sect majesty, but now the news has not been transmitted. It seems that Li Ziyi is not killed. Wei Suo, this person is led by your divine consciousness backlash, and you have taken this ancient heavenly dragon skeleton to the great treasure. You think he has a chance to recover? Ji Ya was worried about watching Wei Suo. You are worried that he will come back and come to me for trouble? This is not to worry. Wei Suo shook his head. Even if he recovered, he must face the pursuit of Mystic Wind section. He didn't dare to show up. Especially Lightning Mystic Moon, Shapeshift great art powerful energy is such a great treasure. If he restores divine consciousness, it is even less likely that Mystic Wind sect will miss the opportunity to get the shapeshift great art. Now I am worried about Lin Taixu. This matter must have angered Mystic Wind section. Li Ziyi is not dead. Lin Taixu must have searched for him in this area. After a slight pause, Wei Suo's eyes stayed quietly in this quiet room, scattered on the ancient heavenly dragon skeleton with endless vicissitudes and majesty. There are a lot of disciples in Mystic Wind sect this week, so to be on the safe side, wait for me to refining the heavenly dragon skeleton and then set the shapeshift great art to leave. This heavenly dragon skeleton is such a great treasure. How to refining? Refining up, how long does it take? Because this heavenly dragon has a strong atmosphere and great atmosphere, Han Wei doesn't bother with Wei Suo at the moment, just feels that such a great treasure is a skeleton. If you eat refining, you will definitely have a secret place. As long as I break some keels, origin chi will vent reveals, and then I use heavenly dragon star body tempering technique refining. That is, the shapeshift great art array on this has started to be damaged. I guess it will be 7 or 8 days at most, Wei Suo explained. Yes, that refining shows me. Han Wei was very excited immediately. Wei Suo also knows that Han Wei will be very curious and will say so there is not much to say. A surging sound of a dark gold sword chi squatting on the front of the heavenly dragon skeleton. A few pieces of small bones floated down, and a black original chi appeared. Wei Suo then floated up, posing a dragon shape, and absorbed all the black origin chi, which had been scattered, into the ti. A few small black bones were immediately turned into dust. That's it. Han Wei looked at Wei Suo and quickly refining the black Italian chi, and immediately fell down again, rubbing his eyes, a look of lust. Seeing Han Wei, Wei Suo suddenly disappeared. This is culture. Can you still pull out the flowers? Jia, Yuking, you should first rehabilitate and restore divine consciousness. Seeing that you are so tired, it really hurts me. After a glance at Han Wei, Wei Suo looked at Jia and Nangong Yuking. Some of them said, "Oh, don't say this is okay, I will come to the air when I say this. We are exhausted and tired, but you still have a good time here. What kind of secret is your use? And the moon in the sky is white, not as white as you are, 700 spiritual stones once or not. You said what in your head is thinking about Han Wei, as soon as Wei Suo said it, suddenly hated it. And, you still have a look at Yin Corp sex little demon girl. You have a good time here. Isn't it? Where do I have eyebrows with others? Wei Suo he smiled. This code is not hidden and will not be heard. I bother. Han Wei is too lazy to talk to Wei Suo. How do you think that this guy hates it? How could it be that this guy would be killed for this guy, and it's shameful to cry in public? Such a wretched and shameless guy should really be hoisted and pumped 100 times, 100 times. This Dark Emperor sword chi is very fast, and it is the heaven level great art of heaven level. You can use it. Wei Suo also did not bicker with Han Wei and directly pointed the ancient talisman of Dark Emperor sword chi to Jia. Good deal. When he heard the words of Wei Suo's, Han Wei licked his mouth and felt that Wei Suo was pleasing to the eye. This is for you. Wei Suo watched Han Wei smile and a treasure receiving pocket flew to Han Wei. What is this again? It won't be something weird. Want to scare me? Han Wei suddenly looked alert and looked at Wei Suo suspiciously. You yourself, as to whether you will be scared, then I don't know. Wei Suo God's secret place smiles. It should be useful to your primal chaos Yunwei anyway. Yes, your primal chaos Yunwei is not starved to death by you. Oh, my Xiaoyan is very good. Hearing Wei Suo, Han Wei turned his eyes and thought of something, and he was excited. Wei Suo, would you like my Xiaoyan and your mind-devouring bug to compare? Wei Suo smiled again, but he hadn't had time to say anything. Han Wei was a surging sound, and he was really a table lust that was scared by the things in the treasure receiving pocket. What thing? So many monster beast. Weisuo, how come you have so many monster beasts? Jia and Nangong Yuking were a little surprised when they didn't understand the treasure receiving pocket. Because there are at least thousands of monster beasts in this entire treasure receiving pocket, and the naked body type that divine consciousness feels is judged, the monster beast rank in this treasure receiving pocket is amazing. There was a part of it that I got myself, and the other 1,000, which I got at Coiling Dragon Reverence treasure receiving pocket. Han Weiwei's reaction with Jia and Nangong Yuking was completely out of Weisuo's expectations, because he was shocked when he got so many monster beast bodies from Coiling Dragon Reverend. Your primal chaos Yunwei is not going to swallow monster core? There should be a monster core for it. However, the brain treasure of the great treasure part is still useless. It can be used to nurture my mind devouring bug. The monster beast can also be used to cultivate immortal slaying vine, so be careful when you take Dan. Don't waste these things. Looking at the Han Weiwei who was scared, Weisuo added the sentence. I will help her get the monster core to use. Jia looked at Weisuo and saw that Weisuo was completely okay, and the cultivation base and divine ability were even more so. Her heart was completely quiet. Plus, she didn't want to delay Weisuo's cultivation, so she didn't let Han Weiwei talk at the moment, saying directly, we're going to retreat in the quiet room next to you, you first refining this heavenly dragon skeleton. Good. Weisuo looked a little reluctant. You have to retreat quickly, divine consciousness has completely recovered, you can come early, some of your things, I want to see it too. You, this person, always talks without seriousness. Originally, the blush on Jia's face just disappeared. Now that I heard Weisuo's, she suddenly became jade-faced. After Weisuo glanced at it, she swept toward a quiet room next to it. It's getting cheeky. Nangong Yuking also knocked on Weisuo's head, blaming a surging sound and following Jia into the room. Old hooligan, Han Weiwei stunned, and suddenly felt that this person was extremely annoying, and he did not go back. Only Weisuo, burning with desire, is crying. Is this alright? Just want to see what Jia's golden core looks like, how can it be so spurned? Chi. After a depressed head shook his head, Weisuo thought about it and inspired a Black Bone Dark Lord to attack the heavenly dragon skeleton. The reason why only one Black Bone Dark Lord was bombarded is because the shapeshift great art array on the heavenly dragon's cheekbones has begun to break. If there are many heavenly dragon origin chis, Weisuo can't absorb it at the moment. Shapeshift great art is wrapped in true UN, but it is troublesome. Hong, Hong, Hong. Next, Weisuo entered the inner vision cultivation completely, and the naked body was suspended in the quiet room. The body of dragon breath and the giant treasure of the giant treasure, and the chi and blood spewed out, as if it really turned into a non-stop great treasure's dragon body. I don't know how long it took. Suddenly, we continued to absorb the Weisuo of heavenly dragon origin chi cultivation. Suddenly there was a vibrating look on the face, and the eyes suddenly opened and stopped the heavenly dragon star body tempering technique. Cultivation. Just as he opened his eyes, Weisuo's heavenly dragon skeleton was just a small cut, and the remaining heavenly dragon skeleton was at least 67. But at this time, a secret place rune between the chest and abdomen of the heavenly dragon skeleton seems to have a crack in the continuous power of the Black Bone Dark Lord, and this crack, it was a dazzling golden light.